I am third-generation cheesemonger Adam Moskowitz, and I'm about to make 56 grilled cheeses, each with a different cheese. I've got your classic cheeses, some less conventional ones, and others that, to my knowledge, have never been in a grilled cheese before. Yeah. Which work, which don't, and what's the best cheese to make grilled cheese with? Let's find out. American. So technically, this isn't cheese. It's American processed cheese food, not traditional cheese stuff. The cheese is a little tangy, kind of lactic. It's like cooked milk. It's creamy. Also like a little rubbery. This sandwich was made with butter and standard white bread. That is what we're gonna be using for all of our sandwiches today. Try to keep everything neutral and let the cheese shine. This is the classic cheese for grilled cheese because a gigantic corporation spent a ridiculous amount of money designing this product in a lab so all of you will eat it, the cheese won't go bad, and it's really cheap. Personally, I think this grilled cheese is super mild, kind of bland. It's just flatline basic. Velveeta. This cheese product is designed to look super ooey gooey. A little bit of tang. The mouthfeel is more creamy. Normally, if you heat a cheese for too long or too high, it will break. The water in the cheese evaporates, leaving a chunky, oily mess. Velveeta's smart. They put in emulsifying salts. They work with the natural emulsifiers in cheese, allowing you to heat it way more than you could a normal cheese. Not a lot of flavor, not a lot of punch. When it comes to what I want to eat, boring. Monterey Jack. So you're starting to see like more of that ooey gooey. This one's tangy, a little bit bitter, which I think is related to the cheese now is starting to age, starting to develop its character. The more a cheese ages, the more lactic acid is developed, and the lactic acid is what develops more bitter notes. So a lot of people would say this is creamy. I wouldn't. I think this is more like heated fudge. I still think we're living in basic. Cheese curds. Cheese pull isn't as sexy as the other cheese. Cheese is made through the acidification of milk. They heat milk, they add starter culture and rennet, and that separates milk into curd and whey. Curd is the solid, whey is the liquid. This grilled cheese is bland. It's baby cheese, it's baby curds. It hasn't had a chance to develop its flavor. And cheese curds are called often squeaky cheese because they're kind of rubbery, and it kind of shines through on this grilled cheese. Muenster. Also has that tang. The texture's really chewy. This cheese is made from pasteurized milk. Pasteurization is basically heating the milk, killing all the bad bacteria, but it also kills all the good bacteria that provide flavor. Said simply, pasteurized milk often makes a sterile, bland cheese, whereas raw milk brings the flavor. I simply don't taste the cheese in this sandwich. Babybel. This cheese doesn't really look like it was melted. The tang is starting to get bigger, it's milky. The problem here is the texture, it's really uncomfortable. Babybel's a cheese that's high in acidity, and when a cheese is high in acidity, what happens with heat is that the calcium dissolves, the water evaporates, and it just leaves a really, really strong, tough protein, so it doesn't melt. Eat the Babybel like a snack, not in a grilled cheese. Gruyère. Look at this, look at that. Look at it, it's so sexy. It is so sexy. Full disclosure. Gruyère is one of my favorite cheeses. First, the bad news. The texture is not like, oh my God, super melty. It's stringy, but the flavor is incredible. Tastes like there's like onions in the sandwich, and there isn't. The reason why you get like oniony notes is because this cheese is made from cows that are actually grazing on pasture. Not just any pasture, we're talking about the Alps. Have you ever been to the top of a mountain? How does it feel when you're at the top of the mountain? It feels amazing. So how do you think the cows feel? They feel amazing. How does the grass look? How does the grass grow? It's as closest to the sun as any other grass. So what does that mean? Delicious, right? And that's what's so dope about really good cheese is that it brings flavor notes that, frankly, a bunch of people aren't used to. Cheese isn't just supposed to be creamy as a flavor. And Gruyère does not disappoint. Comté. Basically French Gruyère. So where Gruyère has that kick of funk, barnard, and onion, this has more of a sweet, buttery, mildly sour tang. It's a beauty. Cotija. Mild, tangy, mild, bitter, but the problem here again is texture. The cheese hasn't melted. The butter's the strongest flavor here. Oaxaca. What's cool about Oaxaca is that it's pasta filata style cheese. When you're cutting curd and then pressing curd, it's basically squeezing out the water. This cheese is made by pulling the curd. And by pulling the curd instead of cutting the curd, it retains more of its moisture. And I must admit, melty cheese pull makes my body tingle. Dare I say it's creamy, milky, lactic, plays really well with the butter. But more importantly, it just feels comfortable in my mouth, like a grilled cheese is supposed to feel. Halloumi. Back to cheeses that don't like to melt. This doesn't even look like it was hit by heat. I'm getting milky lactic notes. It's interesting, the texture does have like a semi-melt quality to it, which is like really a weird thing for my brain to process. The cheese holds heat, which sounds weird, but out of all the grilled cheeses I've eaten so far, like this cheese is the hottest. This just comes off like super bland, super boring. Paneer. All right, this cheese did not melt or move at all. There's no flavor. It's like a piece of plastic between two pieces of bread. Mozzarella. I actually like this. It's creamy like it's supposed to be. Lacking a little bit in flavor in terms of a nuanced, round, robust flavor, but the milk, I could taste milk. And that's really, at the end of the day, what I want to taste. Burrata is basically mozzarella with cream and stringy curd inside the middle. It looks hot, molten, but also like fluffy. Wow, now that's what I want a grilled cheese to feel like. That is like soupy cheese in my mouth. That is like milk on my birthday. It's got like this like aerated, like whipped cream vibe to it. Flavor-wise, it's not kicking me over, but a lot of what grilled cheese is about is texture, and we're finally at a texture that makes me happy. Cream cheese. It's not really melted, it just kind of looks pasty. This actually has some of the most flavor out of any of the grilled cheeses I've eaten so far. We're off bitter, we're now in sour. The texture on this is not cheese, like cooked cream foam in my mouth. Chèvre. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have flavor. It's smooth, it's creamy. What I like about goat cheese is it kind of tastes like you're like taking the goat's foot and like licking it like a lollipop. And it's also really high in medium fatty acids. So that's where the tanginess comes from. But what's nice is that when it's cooked, that gets tempered. And add a little bit of butter and add the crunch of the bread. And like, it's just there, but kind of in the middle, not bam in your face. Ricotta. So unlike most cheeses, this cheese is made from the whey, not the curd. Kind of sad, really isn't any flavor. Texture is like whipped cream hit with a steamer. It's got like a grainy texture to it, oddly enough. Not good. Feta. When I eat a grilled cheese, I don't want the cheese to crumble. The high acid, it's keeping the proteins together and not liquefying. It's got a brightness to it, like limestone. Texture's grainy, sour. Feta does not belong in a grilled cheese. It belongs in a salad. Havarti. Once again, we're like at the young cow's milk cheese, grilled cheese. A little tangy, like a little bitter. It's okay. Fontina. Ah, we've got a melter. We've got a melter. High moisture, semi-soft cow's milk cheese. This baby's meant to melt, people. Look at it. Just, it's what I want in a grilled cheese, right? Oh yeah. I get a little bit of funk, like garlicky on a subtle note. Little bit of like leeks, but it's flavor. I feel flavor. Like it's squeezing out. The bread is now doing its purpose, which is like holding the cheese. I taste cheese. I taste cheese. Yes, I'm so excited. Fontina all day, winner. Want to make a good grilled cheese? Play with some Fontina. Caciocavallo. Looking at another pasta filata cheese, just kind of flat, boring, not super melty. It's another cheese that, to me, doesn't really excite a grilled cheese. So you know what I just learned? I'll take flavor over how it looks every day of the week. Again, we got some funk. It's a bit sour. I'm getting some vegetal notes. Is it my favorite one? No, but it has flavor. And at the end of the day, it's all about flavor. Gouda. The color is exciting. The color of a cheese like this comes from carotene. Cow eats grass, Grass has carotene, beta carotene, and then that beta carotene translates into the finished product, which is cheese. It is a washed curd cheese. And by washing the curd before it's pressed, kind of wipes away all of the tanginess, and you get more of the flavor notes of the grass. So it's sweeter. It's also kind of buttery, which is kind of nice with the butter on it. It's a little rubbery. I'm a little disappointed because I love Gouda. Asiago. So this is gonna sound a little weird, but this actually tastes like what American cheese is trying to get at. It's got like notes of like steamed milk, the tang of like sour cream. Again, I want a cheese that kind of kicks you in the teeth. This definitely doesn't do that. Butterkäse. We got cheese pull. Always happy to see this. It looks great, but the flavor-wise, it's not big, it's not pronounced. Kind of sweet, no tanginess whatsoever. I like how it looks, but kind of disappointing in taste. Cheddar. We got the orange color. This likely comes from annatto. Annatto's a natural food coloring. Doesn't do anything for flavor, it just makes you think it's cheddar. We're still on those like mild flavor notes. What determines the sharpness of a cheddar is high acidity. Cheese is lactose being converted to lactic acid. Acid equals bitter. So the more lactic acid there is in a cheese, the more bitter it can become. This is a little bit timid for me. Likely a good base in a shred mix, but as a standalone, sadly, the cheddar could be better. Mimolette is like a French cheddar, not known for its big flavor. I'm actually surprised. Supple, lactic, like a tempered horseradish. It oddly comes off as I would have hoped the cheddar comes off. American Swiss, cheese with the holes in it. Cheesemakers don't call them holes, they call them eyes. Why, I don't know. The holes come from what's called propionibacterium. Propionibacterium gives off carbon dioxide, which makes the eyes. Mildly nutty, has like that animal, meaty, brothy, barny note, like sour cream lactic. This is good. Jarlsberg, Norway's version of Swiss cheese. Fascinating. So American, Swiss, and Jarlsberg are almost identical cheeses. Jarlsberg comes off a little bit more grassy, not as tangy, not as sour. It doesn't have that like characteristic note that Swiss cheese normally has. It's just kind of dull. I'd rather go with American Swiss. Emmental. Emmental is the Swiss version of Swiss cheese. And this is an OG melter. More balanced than the American Swiss. Texture's perfect, super cool, creamy mouthfeel, but more tempered than the American Swiss. Brie. Brie is a very high moisture cheese. When you open it up, it's all melted. What you see here is the Penicillium candidum. It's the bloomy rind of brie. It's actually meant to be eaten. It's part of the flavor. It's part of the texture. Shucks. Brie has a lot more butterfat than other cheeses. Fat is flavor. So when you got butterfat, you got flavor. The challenge here is that due to the cooking process, all that has been cooked off and it doesn't really ring through on the grilled cheese. Camembert. Basically, Camembert is a mini brie. And so we're dealing again with a lot of butterfat. Yeah, I love it. The texture of the cheese is gooey, but it's not like overwhelming. My whole mouth isn't filled with like a puddle of melted cheese. The cheese is cooked into the bread. It's a little bit like Brussels sprout, cabbage, it's mushroomy, it's umami. Woohoo! Finally, a cheese with some balls. Vive la France! Saint Andre. We're still in this soft ripened, bloomy rind category. We're past creamy. We're now in custardy. Saint Andre is extremely buttery. Like, holy cow buttery. Very earthy, mushroomy note. It's good, not great. Taleggio. Yeah, it's got funk. Fair warning, guys. If something smells like socks, try it anyway, because it doesn't taste like socks. All right, great texture, creamy in the mouth, but more subtle in flavor. It's being aged in a cellar, and so you get that yeasty note. It's like a fermentation note to it. Taleggio's a good guy for melted cheese, but not really exciting. Epoise. Bang, big flavor, bold flavor, a little bitter, definitely umami. There's a subtle gooiness. This is a big flavored cheese. I'm happy. Raclette. If you want that ooey, gooey, molten, lava-like melted cheese, boom, raclette is your play, but it lacks flavor. It's not big and bold. A lot of people really just want a really melty cheese, and for that reason, raclette is actually a great choice. Parmigiano-Reggiano. Sweet, not overly cheese pull, but a cheese pull nonetheless. Booyah! It literally has like a boozy vibe to it. Salty in a good way. It's got some like tropical fruit vibe to it. Hazelnuts. Real Parmigiano-Reggiano from a small specific area of Italy is meant to be melted, right? You guys know it as a grated cheese. In fact, often what you think is grated Parmigiano-Reggiano, it's not, because Parmigiano-Reggiano is not about texture. It's about nuanced flavor. It's about round, multi-noted flavor. And that definitely hits here. Grana Padano. We got a cousin to Parmigiano-Reggiano. Similar cheese, just from a different place in Italy. Yeah, bang. All the things I like about Parmigiano-Reggiano, just toned down a notch. Parmesan. Looks like Parmigiano-Reggiano and Grana Padano. Now, what is Parmesan? It's America copying an amazingly traditional cheese from Italy as an industrialized, inferior product, and then calls it something similar so you guys get tricked. That's what Parmesan is. Gross. All I could say. There's no character, there's no oomph. It's just boring. Piave Vecchio, the little brother of Parmigiano-Reggiano. Fruity, like cherries. Salty, but not super salty. I bet you the kids would love this because it's sweet. Provolone, another good melter. It smells like baby vomit, which some people like. I can't. I can't. Oh boy. Provolone, as you probably experience it on your sandwiches at the deli, is not this provolone. That's American provolone. This is traditional Italian provolone, and it's different. I apologize to the Italian provolone cheesemakers and anybody who likes traditional Italian provolone. I am at approximately 40 grilled cheeses on the day, and provolone is not a flavor profile. That kid, I'm crying. It's not a flavor profile that my stomach can handle at this moment. It's big, it's too bold, it's baby vomit. I have to take a break. Manchego. To me, sheep cheese is more sweet. All of it is elegant. Lactic, it's fruity. The texture is kind of rubbery, but it's actually good. I like it. Pecorino Romano. Sheep cheese, like Manchego, in a much bigger form, aged for a longer amount of time. Uh-oh, that don't look good. Typically known for grating. It allows it to interact with heat in a much better way than when it's chunkier, like shredded, like this. Sorry, not meant for a grilled cheese. Keep it grated, baby. Petite Basque. We're back to good texture, creamy. It's got a tang to it, like a mild parsley type bitter. A good cheese for someone looking for not too big of a bold of a flavor, good melter, and also wants to experience the sheep cheese in their grilled cheese, which I think is kind of cool. Pepper Jack, which is basically Monterey Jack, coupled with little chilies, habaneros, peppers, some garlic. They know the regular one doesn't have a lot of flavor. And instead of getting bitter milk, they added peppers. Tastes like jalapenos, and I like jalapenos. So it's good. When you add elements to a grilled cheese that are vegetal in nature and have a high acidity, it punches up the flavor. And so when you find a cheese that's really good at melting, but doesn't have as big a bold a flavor as you want, throw something on it, and it does a lot for the flavor. Pimento. This is usually made with a processed cheese or cheddar, mayonnaise, and pepper. Not really sure why you put a spread on a grilled cheese, but heck, why not? Yeah, that's weird. It's oily. You get the pepper note. Maybe spreads are not supposed to be in grilled cheese. Poisson. Another spread. It's basically a French version of cream cheese with garlic and chives. Some of the fat's been cooked off in the heating process, so it's a little bit more gummy. Not what it's made for. Poisson doesn't belong in a grilled cheese, but garlic and chives do. Beer cheese. So beer cheese is a spread. Take like Velveeta, add some beer, add some garlic, add some cayenne. It looks like French dressing with chives in it. Really runny, like soupy. There's like a mayo note in there. Not meant for a grilled cheese. Port wine cheese. Imagine Velveeta with port wine included in it. This color is just absolutely disgusting. It looks like gum. Tastes like burnt plastic. That is just disgusting. Truffle cheese. Banging. The truffle gives it this nice umami roundness. For me, I like truffle, and so the truffle plays well with the bread, it plays well with the butter. The umami plays well with the notes that cheese usually offers you. Wensleydale with cranberries. This is a high moisture cheese with fruit in it. All the water is cooked off, so you're left with this like chunky protein. I don't need to take a bite of this one. I could just tell by looking at it, that's not what you're looking for in a grilled cheese. Gorgonzola. This is Gorgonzola Dolce. This is a creamy blue. The bluing is still kind of chunky. Paste is like really ooey gooey melty. And the reason why it's so gooey is because the curds are hand ladled into the mold. There's not a lot of whey expulsion, not a lot of water expulsion when this cheese is being made. Yeah, it's a mess, but it's got flavor. It might be a bit too runny. I think the paste did break, so it's a little oily, but the blue just kicks. It's just big, bold, in your face. I recommend it. Stilton, English blue cheese. All right, we might have gone too bold now. First, because it's crumbly, it's aged, it's broken. It's really salty, kind of barnyardy. This has a lot of flavor in it. It's a bit too much for me, but it's not bad. Roquefort. This cheese has stood up better than the other two blue cheeses. Bang! Love it. A bit saltier and definitely more creamy than the other two blues. The cheese is like melted into the bread. This is fascinating. It's like cheese French toast. Blue is coming out like an acetone note, kind of like a nail polish remover, which for me is like one of my favorite flavors in a blue cheese. It's like spicy and like sort of like vinegary-ish. This is actually one of my favorite of the day. Vegan cheese. This isn't cheese. Technically, it's a nut spread. It doesn't taste at all like cheese, but it does have a consistency similar to cream cheese. It has like a tangy note, but also obviously has a nutty note. It tastes better than I thought it would, but doesn't taste anything like cheese. Easy cheese. I can't believe they're making me eat this. The fakest cheese in the market. I'm glad I could be here to try this for all of you in the hopes of you never trying this at home. Okay, this is scary. It kind of tastes like something in between Velveeta and American cheese slices with a soupier texture. For a cheese that came out of an extruder of a can, it wasn't that bad. This kind of gives me hope that if nuclear fallout does happen, I can still eat grilled cheese. Nacho cheese sauce. This is an emulsification that comes in a can. Absolutely disgusting. It's very watery. It's got the peppers in it, so it's got those pepper notes. This feels wrong. This feels like cheese soup. This is crazy. I think I might prefer the easy cheese, grilled cheese, over the nacho cheese. If you're gonna make a grilled cheese with nacho cheese sauce, get pepper jack. My top 5 cheeses of the day are Oaxaca, Camembert, Fontina, Gruyère, and Roquefort, with the MVP being Parmigiano-Reggiano. Oaxaca is like mozzarella, but it had actual flavor to it and actually like held well in the sandwich. Camembert, when you taste Camembert, you know you're tasting Camembert. That still rang true within the grilled cheese. Fontina is built to melt. It's a high moisture cheese. It's got a little bit of funk, but not a lot of funk. Gruyère is just my favorite cheese, and it had that bold funk that I like out of a Gruyère. Roquefort, I love blue cheese, but getting blue cheese right in a grilled cheese can be tough, but the Roquefort held up and had the note that I like in a blue cheese, which is acetone. Parmigiano-Reggiano gave me everything I was looking for in a grilled cheese. It had texture, it had flavor, it had melt, really good mouthfeel, it was sweet, it was nutty. But the most important thing I learned today is that melted cheese is awesome. Experiment with all sorts of cheeses, and if you're not happy, just make another grilled cheese. You ever cooked like cheese in like a pot and then tried to wash it after? And you notice how like hard it is, like you have to like let it sit for like 2 days? That's what my stomach feels like right now.